Something that really frustrates me as a dietitian is the disconnect between research papers and practical daily life application of probiotics, of nutritional protocols, of we see this vitamin, mineral, etc., and this is what you can do to have it help you with your health, etc. For example, here is this study here, which is a fabulous study that outlines the health benefits of microbes. And in the title of this study, Health Benefits of Microbes, how is it that you're going to say that and then not give a practical application of how these probiotics actually help us? You're listing this long table of probiotics and you're not telling us where we can get it. And I know that I'm being nitpicky, and maybe it's not their main objective as researchers to provide this, but I can't help but feel frustrated when someone says L-Reuteri is a fantastic probiotic and then they give zero application as to how to actually introduce it into the diet. They don't help. And I work in the field. Like, I'm a dietitian and I'm frustrated. And so I can't imagine what it may be like for, someone on the non-nutritional side that's just quote unquote normal. They're saying, oh yeah, I want more XYZ because L-Reuteri or LKC or any, or even Saccharomyces boulardii, the famous probiotic for helping diarrhea. And there is almost no information online as to practical applications as to where the S. boulardii comes from, or even where L-Reuteri comes from. It's frustrating, and it makes me want to take things into my own hands, kind of. So maybe this is out of pure spite, but out of frustration because they have this wonderful table. This is a great table and it's very helpful. What I've done is I've taken that table and I've made a blog post out of it, and I have expanded upon it as to where you can find these specific probiotics in daily food. These probiotics, they had to have come from somewhere. And I think maybe it's my job as a dietitian, and maybe I'm getting frustrated for no reason. And the researchers, their job is to just find the health benefit, and it's my job as the dietitian to find the practical application. So maybe whoops there. But I thought that it would be a fantastic idea to, as a nutrition professional, to take these types of informative tables and make them more readable, make them more useful for the regular person that's just trying to get a health benefit. So what I've done is I've taken the regular table and I have added a preferred temperature range for every single bacteria. And the purpose of that is to give you a temperature range so that if you have that specific probiotic strain or bacteria, that you can effectively culture it in your own kitchen, given that you have maybe a milk culture like a yogurt or any other type of food source that can effectively help this bacteria or microbe proliferate. Then I also added a typical food sources where these specific bacteria are usually found and were usually derived from. For example, let's take L-Reuteri. L-Reuteri helps people that have a weak immune system, and that usually goes in line with people that have been quote unquote hurt from antibiotics. So it'll take someone that's been treated with antibiotics, their health declined, and they have weak health stability. So their health is very shaky, and it helps rebuild their foundation of health. L-Reuteri is most commonly naturally found in milk kefir, not water kefir. It is found in sourdough bread, so the dough stage of sourdough, but when you cook it, obviously the L-Reuteri is going to die in the oven. So it's maybe less of an effective protocol for L-Reuteri application into the diet. But then L-Reuteri is also found in raw cheeses. So you're seeing a theme in Cultured dairy products, meaning milk, kefir, and raw cheeses, do have L-Reuteri present in them naturally. You can also get L-Reuteri as a probiotic. But with this information, and you may be thinking, I want to make L-Reuteri yogurt, but you're like, what in the world do I do? How do I do this? If you need help with a yogurt tutorial, my very first video on YouTube is a yogurt tutorial. Please feel free to reference it here. But this table that I have made is going to tell you that L-Reuteri has a preferred temperature range of 37 to 42 degrees Celsius and 98.6 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. And so what that means is that if you're going to take a milk medium, you're trying to make yogurt out of, or a fermented dairy out of L-Reuteri, what you would do is you would heat the milk up to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit to pasteurize it, to kill off the other bacteria so that the L-Reuteri does not have competition. You want to take the competition away. And then you would cool that milk down to the preferred L-Reuteri range, meaning the 37 to 42 degrees Celsius, 98.6 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you would add in your L-Reuteri capsule or anything along those lines that has L-Reuteri in it. And then you would hold the milk, the inoculated milk, at that temperature for a sustained period of time, however long it may be, until the milk sets. It needs to gel. And when the milk gels, that's when you know that the fermentation process has finished. It can take a long time. The lower your temperature range, the slower it's going to ferment, and so it may take longer. Do leave it out. As someone that does dairy fermentation, that's getting to be pretty good at it, in my opinion, I have done French dairy fromage blanc, and it has taken 3 days for it to set. And that's perfectly normal and to be expected, especially when you're doing it without rennet. But in any way, if your L-Reuteri is taking a while to set, do not fret. It is maybe just taking time, which is a normal process because the bacteria do need to metabolize all of the proteins, fat, and carbs in the milk. L-Reuteri, as we can tell from it being present in milk, kefir, and in cheeses, milk is a fantastic medium for L-Reuteri to be proliferated in. It is a fantastic space. L-Reuteri likes that space and it will ferment given that it's in the right conditions, meaning in the correct temperature ranges that I already gave. And so that would be how I would do an L-Reuteri yogurt. I know that there are other professionals online that do L-Reuteri yogurt and it's very hit or miss, but that would be my approach. Maybe there should be a tutorial coming soon about me doing an L-Reuteri yogurt. And next I would say that still milk kefir is the #1 natural food item that has L-Reuteri in it. And I think that it is valuable to, if you're trying to have more L-Reuteri in your diet, to have milk kefir in your diet. That would be a full stop for anyone doing that under my, guidance as a dietitian. So what is it that we can take away from this list? When you look at the specific foods that I figured out on the right-hand side of the table, you can tell that a lot of the foods of the probiotics that are beneficial have either two main categories that positively influence your gut microbiome. Amplifying these two categories is going to positively affect your happy gut that is healthy. Fermented dairy and fermented vegetables. Fermented dairy such as raw cheeses, milk kefir, and yogurts. Fermented vegetables such as sauerkraut, lacto-fermented carrots, kimchi, etc. Please, if you don't like a certain type of ferment, maybe it's not for you, try something different. But I think it would be irresponsible to try one type of a raw cheese, say you don't like it, and completely forget all of the other raw cheeses. Same thing for fermented vegetables. If you don't like sauerkraut, don't say that all lacto-fermented vegetables are bad. You have to try a few and see which ones you like. When you like something, that means your body's telling you, whatever's in this one, I like, keep doing it. So it's a positive feedback loop, and that will help you make your decision as to which ferments are the best for you on your personal diet. So also on the blog post, to help expand on this study that I did feel was lacking, I added probiotic bacteria in the specific food sources. And so they will outline all of the specific food sources, and you are more than welcome to do your own research. This is just what I personally have found. And so before I finish up, I did want to make a few points on how to successfully get the most out of your probiotics. And this is at the very end of my blog post. But to get started, the first one is a probiotic is going to be its most beneficial in someone that is well hydrated. In other words, a dehydrated individual that doesn't have clear pee at least once per day, very important to know that, clear pee at least once per day means that you are well hydrated, is going to lose the benefits of a probiotic. If you are chronically dehydrated and you try to add a probiotic in and you don't get anything out of it, it's maybe not the probiotic's fault, but it's your hydration status that is to blame. Next, probiotics never work individually. They are always synergistically acting together. In yogurt, for example, you're going to have Lactobacillus bulgaricus, and then you're going to have Streptococcus thermophilus. These are two bacteria, and they help each other synergistically. And this is one of the main fermented dairy products that we have researched over the years in trying to understand their synergy and why they work so well together. And it's complex, and it's bacteria signaling, and it's just all these really deep things. But one thing that you will notice is that when you're making a fermented food, there is never just one bacteria or one microbe that's acting. It's always a community. And so if you are going to buy a probiotic, which is perfectly fine, it should have a community of microbes that are being introduced through the capsule that you're taking. If you're only taking one thing, I'm not sure how beneficial it's actually going to be, which is why when I go back to an L-Reuteri type of protocol, which is so helpful, I would say that, try milk kefir or complement your L-Reuteri protocol with another milk ferment. So maybe yogurt, like a different kind of yogurt, or a different or milk kefir, or other raw cheeses. So the L-Reuteri, which is a milk-loving microbe, has other milk-loving microbes surrounding it, like LKC, for example. Next, being physically active greatly benefits your gut microbiome in more ways than researchers understand today. Someone that has a stagnant, sedentary lifestyle outside of resting, so when you go to bed, of course, you're supposed to rest, and that is normal. But if on your daily life, when you're waking up and you're doing your things throughout the day, if you are slow and sedentary, you are doing a disservice to your gut microbiome, full stop, no exceptions whatsoever. So, positively, there's a reason why runner's high happens. There's a reason why people feel good after the workout, endorphins. But then there's also a gut microbiome shift that happens, which helps these hormones get released into the system, which helps you feel better after a workout. So being physically active and having a rich diet that has probiotics in it and prebiotics and other microbes in it is going to be more of a surefire way for you to positively influence your gut microbiome. If, as you look at the table that I previously attached, and you see a common theme in the conditions, so like, for example, if you have like diarrhea, for example, and you're seeing, oh, fermented dairy, oh, fermented dairy, oh, fermented dairy, then that means that you probably really should include more fermented dairy on a daily basis. Lastly, and this is my most important, I want to say, talking point on having probiotics in the diet, homeostasis in the body is super powerful. Weight loss does not change overnight. Building muscle does not change in a week. And the microbiome does not change in 2 to 3 days. There will be some shift in 2 to 3 days. To have a clear difference in your daily set point microbiome. There needs to be daily application of a specific microbe until the base point has shifted to its new habits. You are essentially changing your gut's habit. It needs to be completely different, and you need to introduce the newness every single day till it is anchored into your gut, literally. You need to form a new habit, and that is how you get the benefits from a probiotic. It is not you can't see benefit from a probiotic within a week, but to have sustained benefit from a probiotic, you need to have it on, I would say honestly, a month at least. The microbiome is very adaptable and willing to change. But if you don't maintain that change, it will always come back to its set base point. The diet changes that you make need to be easy for you to do over a longer period of time so that it's not difficult for you to do this for an entire month. If I were to tell you, change your shoes and wear these different types of shoes for a month, that's easy to do. If I tell you, make this weird, like Asian or South American ferment that you've never had and ingredients are hard to get, you're not going to do that for a month. Do something that is easy for you to do and that is easy for you to introduce into your diet over a consistent period of time. Large quantities is not going to be that beneficial, but consistency and having it every single day in maybe just like a little 2 tablespoon amount, that will make a difference. In any case, these are the types of concepts and practices that I have adapted over time, and maybe you have felt the same way about doing your own research through probiotics and having them help you with your health. So these are my basic first step types of protocols that I would give to someone that's trying to amplify a certain type of a probiotic, and how they can be really effective when they start taking a probiotic. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has been frustrated by the research papers that are online. If you have specific questions about a specific probiotic, or if you have had a similar experience, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. You can also find the associated blog post that I mentioned in this video on my website at crestdietetics.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.